What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Jump to Start Racing podcast. My name is Wellington. I'm here with two of my closest friends for now. Ruben, say hi.
What's going on, guys?
Yhancy, how are you?
Hi.
We're back. Yhancy's back.
In today's episode, we'll go over some of the news. The McLaren selling out, and then also Suzuka. the Suzuka contract details, and we're also previewing the Portuguese Grand Prix. Before then.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure you guys are aware that I want to make sure I'm going to start backwards here. I'm going to say on. Yeah, I'm going to say at Jump to Start F1 on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure to follow us, like, subscribe. Don't subscribe there, actually. Just follow us. We're on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell so that you get our alerts. And we are on numerous podcast platforms. That's it. All right, guys.
Whoa. He's not going to go through them.
No. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. That's where you can find us. And YouTube. At Jump to Start F1 on Twitter and Instagram.
Ruben, we got to give credit where credit is due. That was a phenomenal job.
Finally.
Yes, sir.
Finally.
That
I think
was great.
He did it on a more relaxed level. That's what it was.
Yes. And I think he started off with the easy ones. Then he finished off
built
strong.
into it.
Yeah.
You got to warm up the motors.
The build-up. He warmed up the tires.
Like,
and then
I did the formation lap.
He did a formation lap, and then he just took off.
He did a scenario 7 at the end.
Exactly. Go Lando.
Yeah. All right, let's jump right into it.
Mando.
The news, let's start with the something that's kind of been percolating for a while. McLaren sells their F1 factory for a $170 million lease back deal.
Jeez.
Yes, they sold it to an American company, GNL. I keep reading that as NGL, not going to lie, right? GNL Global Net Lease. They're working out the deal on the sale and then also a 20-year lease. Ruben, what do you think of this deal? We were talking about it before, and I want to make sure I get your thoughts here.
It's just, obviously, we don't know the details of the ownership of that building that they had, but it's intriguing to me that you're going to sell the building to pay rent. Okay. Like, I don't know, financial wise for a company that makes sense, because the building was an asset to them. Why don't they just get a loan on the building? Granted, saying that they don't owe money, but if they owe money on it, now you got to pay what you owe, whatever's left, where you're going to use it to develop McLaren automobile, because you can't put it into F1 because we have a budget cap.
I think you're thinking about it wrong, though.
Okay, well, I mean, go ahead, Jens. Sorry.
And Zach Brown explained it to everybody. Remember that when you own a piece of real estate, especially, and we don't know if they own it outright, maybe they still owe on it.
Exactly.
You still have to pay maintenance. You still have to pay taxes. And on your balance sheet, it's an asset that it can't be used to it's illiquid, essentially. It's illiquid, yeah. So it's money that you can't use in your main operation, which is racing. Basically the two products that McLaren has is a race team, and they have various racing outfits. They race an IndyCar, they race an F1, they also have a GT program, and they build road cars, which has been very lucrative for them the past few years.
Yep.
So, yeah. And, obviously they needed some help from the Bank of Bahrain this past year because of COVID.
Bank of Bahrain or the country?
Bank of Bahrain.
Gotcha.
Bank of Bahrain. So, obviously, it makes sense for them to do that because then they take that money off of their balance sheet and use that cash, and they invest it into the operations that actually makes the money. So now instead of them being a real estate company, we're owning that huge piece of land, because it's not only the building, it's the land also. Yeah. They invested into their racing and road car operations. And all they have to do is pay rent. And they don't have to worry about the maintenance, because that's the responsibility of the landowner or the building owner.
Okay. I don't know.
It's just focusing more on their operations as opposed to spending money on maintaining a piece of real estate property, which is not their main source of business.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense either. Yeah. To me, it's like...
Because I would, by the way, even though I'm not an accountant, I don't know about anything, I would just open up a real estate corporation. Yeah, you're not saying that real, but pay yourself some rent to pay that mortgage. The rent is tax deductible. I don't know, just going into deep dive.
That's why we're not accountants. But, I mean, the way he explained it, that's the way he explained it seemed to make sense to me. He wants, and as you know, as any business, you want to focus on what makes you most money. And obviously, maintaining a piece of real estate is not what they're really into. So they're more race cars and
cut the grass once a month. Why you gotta do a week? Pay what happened?
Yeah. Mow the lawn.
Yeah,
McLaren mower.
Yeah, like hey, Lamb, do you crash? Guess what? The way to pay us back is go mow the lawn. No, like now you know how to go in circles properly and how to slow down for the turns and how to avoid corners.
And if you're not careful, you're going to be doing dishes next.
Exactly. And that way we don't have to pay the help. I don't know.
Oh, my God. All right. So aside from that, the other major piece of news for this week, it was kind of a dry week, but Suzuka gets an extension on the F1 calendar, a 3-year extension, bringing it out to 2024. The lease for them, or not the lease, but sorry, I'm thinking about the lease, but at the end,
you leasing a new Honda?
Yeah, at the end of this,
I think he was the one that bought the property.
Exactly. I hope so. 20-year deal.
Yeah, for real.
Jeez.
Making a lot of money there, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. So at the end of this,
he'll be a slumlord though.
Right? Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Just to get a free car.
I would write that into this. Yeah, you're right. At the end of this season, or right after the Japanese Grand Prix was supposed to take place, that would have been the end of the contract. So this is just making sure that Suzuka is still part of the F1 calendar, and we're ensuring that. Honestly, it's one of the greatest. It's one of the best tracks on the year. You guys agree or disagree?
We missed it last year, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things where
2020 is a year to miss a lot of stuff.
It's one of those tracks where it's fun to watch in qualifying and it's fun to watch during the race. And it has, I think, a lot of the newer tracks pull a lot from the Suzuka track layout.
And I think it's one of those tracks that bring a lot of unexpected. They're expected, but they're hoping not to happen. The challenge that it brings.
Yeah,
because they get drizzle, they get heavy rain, and the track itself is a nice layout.
It's a driver's track. The drivers love it.
Vettel loves it. Sebastian Vettel loves it. It's his favorite track.
And the fans are just insane in Japan.
And it was to me, it was a track that was going to be unfortunate to lose because it is a must to me in F1 to have. And I still think also losing Honda is bad for F1 as well, but it's just things that happen.
Yeah, and especially the way they're formed this year too.
Exactly.
It sucks. But we'll still get Suzuka for the next 3 years at the very least.
He's here to stay.
And we'll get the crazy hats that these
Thank you to Yuki.
make.
You heard? Thank you to Yuki.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if it's thanks to him, but it's going to be awesome.
No, they're always looking to spend, like I was saying earlier, their Asian market. They might bring Vietnam. Who knows? It's still out there.
I think that's going to happen. Would they let that all go to waste? They built the track.
Wasn't it in the street, though?
Yeah, it was a street
but
track.
But it was half, I think it was
in a
half,
park.
It was half street, and they built the facilities for it, like
They were in the process of all of that. Yeah. It was, meaning the process was very far along for not to get a completely pullback of never happening again. That's going to be like a completely waste of money. And I'm pretty sure
it was going to happen.
Either the promoters in Vietnam or the country was the one building all that stuff.
Yeah, but then now
that's already money.
They also had issues with the promoter there. I think he got arrested for fraud or something.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we don't know the inner details or who was paying for all of that. I'm assuming it was an F1 because if they were the ones that paid all that money to reconstruct, I don't think F1 pays all of that. So I'm assuming the promoters or the country was the one that was paying all to rebuild all the infrastructure that F1 requires to go to you, and not just to let it go away.
Right.
It's tough. It's a tough thing to let go of, even if the players have changed. Either whoever runs the country or whoever the promoters are and stuff like that. Even all of that gets changed is when it has to be revived.
Right.
Opinion.
So you think it will be?
It will be eventually. Yeah.
Okay.
Could be next Miami. Took a long time to get approved and then change the track and all that stuff, and then
Yeah, what sucks is that track was already built. Like everything was ready.
It's in the game.
Go, man.
It's in the game.
It's in the game.
Wow.
Like EA Sports, it's in the game.
Wow, took it back.
Yeah. So, all that said, not much news. We're going to jump straight into the Portuguese Grand Prix preview. Ruben, take it away with trivia.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's the drop.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so
We got to make that into a drop.
with this track for us, it's tough also to get trivia questions because they're either going to be so far-fetched for us without throughout history and stuff like that for you guys to even know. And it's new and old. So I just came with pretty much, I would say, like a mix of questions that I think some of them make sense or whatever. So
Here we go.
let's go with an easy one.
Hold on, who's going first?
We raised our hand, I
Hit the
guess.
table.
We're doing the top?
Hit the table or something.
I need to get one of those.
Let's go with a super easy one. I believe this is easy. Who qualified last in last year's Grand Prix?
Latifi.
Yeah, it was.
Boom.
Jesus.
By the way, Yhancy was up 4-0, so that would bring it to 4-1.
Okay. I was going to say Russell.
No, come on, Mr. Saturday.
It's in the Williams.
So this is another question that was even tough for me to like put together to make sense. So I don't, if you guys probably don't know, but Bottas loves this track. So last year he did phenomenal in this track throughout the whole weekend.
Still lost to Hamilton, though.
So Bottas last year he did everything FP1, FP2, FP3, Q1, and Q2. Right? Can you name which section or which part of the weekend, was Bottas not the fastest?
The race.
No, they didn't mention the race. I said FP2, FP1, FP3, Q1.
Qualifying Q3.
No, Q1. The fastest all weekend. I think he actually got
He wasn't the fastest
yes,
Q1?
in Q1. Oh, the whole weekend in FP1 he was the fastest. FP2 he was. That's what I'm saying. This question is tricky to.
Oh, you said Oh, my bad. I misunderstood that question.
But hold on, he qualified behind Hamilton.
FP1, FP2, FP3, Q1, and Q2.
And then he qualified behind Hamilton.
And Q3.
So he wasn't the fastest
In Q3.
in Q3.
I didn't say Q3. I said Q2.
What was the question, dude?
The question was what weekend he was the fastest? Like
No.
What part of the weekend he was not the fastest?
Yes.
He did not beat Hamilton.
It was Q3.
Well, I didn't ask you Q3. I said FP1, FP2, FP3, Q1, and Q2.
Come on. Fine, whatever.
So you see, like this question was weird.
No.
You hit yourself.
Seriously.
Get out of here with
because
that.
now you're excluding the race, which fine, I got wrong. That's fair. But you can't just exclude
wait.
all of qualifying.
Okay. Bottas has to be lucky to be like the fastest in actual race now. We got that from last race. So we're not even including that. He can't even come up.
I can't even argue with you on that because you're right. But still, pose your questions better.
Yeah, I have to. This is difficult in this track.
You know what? We should have paid more attention. Okay.
Yeah, in this track,
No
it
problem.
was super difficult for me to come up with all this stuff.
All right. Okay.
Let's go with what I think.
I blame the refs.
You blame the
I
rest.
blame the stewards.
Even the stewards messed me up. Okay, but it was the race director that messed me up. Otra vez, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so I think this is a hard one to get. So last year's, Portugal Grand Prix, or the way it was called Portimao or whatever, still whatever, there are different names. But last year's race was when Lewis Hamilton set the record for the most F1 win, and he was, he passed Schumacher by doing that. Can you name the circuit where Schumacher set his record for most wins?
Oof.
That's the hard one that I picked.
How's it? Is it related to Portugal?
But I just mentioned to you at the beginning an event related to Portugal.
Okay.
Because it was Ham's, F1 record setting.
I'm gonna go with what's in the news. I'm gonna go with Suzuka.
Turkey?
Oh. Okay.
It was actually in 2001, and it was in Belgium. Belgium.
Spa.
Spa-Francorchamps.
So I got another one that I just threw there.
Okay.
I
All
put
right.
together.
Let's take it.
Is this one going to count too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might as well. These impossible questions.
Name the driver with the most podiums in Portugal. That's freaking tough.
That's a tough one. The most podiums in Portugal.
Yep.
Is it Gerhard Berger?
Is it Alan Prost?
That was a guess.
Yes.
Oh, man. Wow, nice answer. Nice one. Nice one. That was a good one. Listen, I didn't think, and I put that one as an easy one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So that's it for trivia?
That's it. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So Yhancy's up 5-1.
Trivia was weird this week. It's off. Trivia to me was off this week.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was tough to find.
Still got a point, baby.
Better luck next time.
Well, he got one too. So
yeah,
both of you guys get an applause then.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's jump into history with the track historian.
And we still got to get the how do you call it, the gif or the meme with me with the little like.
We gotta put something on your face.
Exactly, with the little white hair and on the side with the little roller on the side. How do you call it again?
I don't know.
It was the powdered wig back in the day.
There you go. Yeah. Right? I'm not gonna put my face too white, but as far as like with the powder, like too.
Okay. What's the history?
Because he said, "Oh my bad." He said it was like with the powdered wig, so don't get me too powdery.
You don't like makeup?
No. All right, so yeah, this track it's unfortunate that we obviously we don't know after 2021 if it's gonna be like a permanent track, but this track has a lot of history and is awesome. So originally was part of Formula One in 1958 and 1960 for like 2 years, and then it came back again. It was from 1984 to 1996 altogether. It was supposed to come back around 2009, but because of financial stuff, it never happened. And like I was saying with the history of the track, this track has a lot of hits. It's been placed for a ton of back and forth action and a lot of controversy as well. Like changes were made also to the track in '94 after Ayrton Senna's tragic death in Imola, where they changed one of the curves just for safety measures because this track was known for being super unsafe and outdated at that time as well. Then we got events like Senna squishing Prost to also be later on overtaken by Senna so Senna showing nurse's steel because it was super tight.
Close.
Yeah. Also, Nigel Mansell one time he got black flagged and then he collided with Senna. Also, it's a bunch of history, really stuff that is very intriguing to watch and go back and
This is back in Estoril when it was.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It was because we were going by the country, Portugal, right. So we are not even the winners here is tied 3 apiece. Alain Prost has 3 wins, even though he's the one to win the most podiums, and Nigel Mansell has 3 as well. Constructors, Ferrari has 7, followed by Williams has 6.
Wow.
Any manufacturer winners, something that come my attention is like Ferrari has 7, and obviously because they don't use nobody else's engine. Renault has 6, followed by Ford has 3. Wow. I believe we mentioned that also before.
Ford.
In the countries, because it could be different tracks, but this is Senna's first win back in '85.
Where was that in Estoril?
Yes.
Okay. And
last year, pole position was Hamilton. Fastest lap was also Hamilton with like 118.75. Last year's podium was Hamilton, Bottas, and Verstappen.
It was Hamilton, not Valtteri Bottas.
And there's 2 things that I found also intriguing is that the safety car has never been deployed at the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Really?
Yeah.
At all?
Ever in the whole history? But do you just no problem.
No, back and forth action. A driver got black flag.
So that's what I was going to say. How could you get black flag without the safety car?
Well, black flag is when you also
disqualified. Right? Yeah, but I'm assuming an accident. Okay, all right, cool.
And 1985 GP is obviously we know because it was Senna's first win and he won in the rain. It was the only time that a race at Portugal was affected by rain, except last year that we had a drizzle compared to what Senna got in his first win, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, last year I think it was only just because right at the beginning.
At the beginning, it was like by 2 turns only. It wasn't like the whole track was not completely wet. I can't recall if they even went on the intermediates last year. Because it was only 2 turns.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to call that a rain.
No. I mean, rain would be what we got last week. The last week was fun. Yes. Hopefully this week will be fun too.
It will. I have hopes. Hey, the track has always shown it, so we know we're getting a lot of action. So
So this is another track. I'm going to bring up the track map on the screen here for everybty. This is another. It's such a weird looking track, but it's another track that's
doggy.
It looks like a little pup.
Hey, Rover.
Where it's as you guys can see, there's no 90s. They're all kind of rounded edges where people should be able to maintain speed. It's a fast, flowy track.
Looks like a better version of Barcelona. I think we mentioned that last year. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the racing action last year, as Ruben mentioned, was pretty good. We had some issues with the tires. I remember that the people that were on the soft tires were much better off than those that were on mediums. I believe that at one point Sainz took the lead.
Yes,
in the race, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. It's
and I think this guy at the first lap, he also killed it. I think
that's right.
This is one where he made all those places in the first lap.
That's right. Even in his Alfa Romeo.
Yes.
So let's what do you guys think as far as predictions, qualifying wise? We're gonna go with Yhancy. What do you think first?
I say Max gets another one.
Yeah,
Max gets another. Well, you're talking about qualifying or the race?
Qualifying.
Okay. No, yeah, Max, Hamilton. Norris.
Wow. So no Perez. No Perez, no Bottas.
No, I think that McLaren. I think McLaren is faster than what they show. It seems to me, if they get everything. I mean, obviously, now Norris had a really good race last week.
Good weekend in general.
A good weekend in general. At some point, they were just as fast as the Mercedes and the Red Bulls. And I think they're just getting to know the car better, especially if they put that new engine in. I think that McLaren might have a chance to... Obviously, they're going to be fighting for podiums, but they might have a chance, depending on what happens at the front between Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen. They might have a chance to sneak in there and get a second place or even a race victory. And especially if you have... Once Ricciardo gets his bearings within that car...
Big settles down.
Yeah, but that's my crazy prediction for qualifying. Yeah,
Ruben, what do you got?
I would say qualifying will be Max. Let's think about it. It'll be Hamilton, Max, Perez, Bottas, and Norris in fifth because Nancy just mentioned a couple of facts.
Wow. Why do you believe that? Why do you believe that Perez is going to beat Bottas?
Perez, my opinion, in the last week's race, it's just bad luck that he's been having. Once it's going to be like that pretty much. Even as the year goes on, he's going to keep getting even better. So I think if he's able to have a solid weekend or a little bit of a normal weekend, he beats Bottas any day.
So I'm going to remind you guys. Last year, Perez qualified fifth. Got into an accident with Max in the first lap. Went down to last after he had to pit, and he was able to qualify. He was able to finish the race at seventh. So it's a track that he should do okay in.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm gonna push back.
Thank you for
because I think Perez still not there with the car yet, and obviously it's not all bad luck. He didn't drive too well last week. During the race. I don't know, and it could be maybe he's not there with the car and it was raining. It was the first time he drives that car in the rain.
There you go. That's what it was.
But it's still on the driver. So
last week, who had a clean race?
I don't think nobody did.
Max, you think Max had a clean race? Nothing happened to him?
Oh, well, he made one mistake during the...
That's why nobody had a complete race.
He made one mistake during the...
It was behind the safety car thing. That he was just drifting all the way out.
Oh, that's right.
That Leclerc should have overtaken
exactly.
him. I think
that was surprised. Leclerc got surprised. So got caught sleeping, but sleeping.
And also,
it was behind the safety car.
And also, Leclerc didn't have radio for the second half of the whole race last week.
So he didn't have help.
Maybe he didn't have help. Like, yeah, go wherever to take them. But either way, he should have overtaken him because, dude, you're the one driving the car.
But it wasn't the safety car. You can't overtake.
You can if somebody goes off.
Yes, I think if he was completely off,
Yeah.
That would have been insane.
That would have been that would have made a crazy race even crazier.
That would have been so good. So I'm gonna go with pole position Max, Hamilton in second, and I'm gonna go with Bottas in third. I'm gonna give Bottas a chance at redemption here.
Are you saying a prayer for him too? He looked up like, why should I?
I'm looking at God like, God,
should I?
Why is it that
protect us?
What makes you think Bottas is gonna bounce back?
He has to.
Because he has to. Because I'm gonna say it this way. There is now a spotlight on both Bottas and Russell. And I think that the expectations for Russell aren't going to be there. But the expectations for Bottas, the pressure is on. You were part of a collision that sincerely and dearly cost the Mercedes team. You now need to start proving it. You couldn't make up the reason that and this is something we talked about last week. The reason that he was part of that collision is that he did not advance the car to where it needed to be from the qualifying. He fell backward, actually. So
he couldn't move up at all.
He could not move up at all.
I think that's why the collision happened, because he was in a place that he was not supposed to be.
So he needs to figure out a way to eat his porridge and be able to get to a point where he is way far and performing the way that he needs to be.
He needs to get on OnlyFans and feel the love from his fans, so you get some confidence
and go back.
But how sad is it that, I think he's going to bounce back. He's going to have a performance, et cetera, et cetera. Qualifying third.
Dude, you're racing a Williams. That was like, I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. You shouldn't be there. And now it's just not him versus Hamilton.
Yeah.
It's him versus Hamilton, Perez, Verstappen, sometimes Norris. And again, when Ricciardo, like it's a 6-horse. It's a 6. You have at least 3 other cars that you have to fight. At best, 6 other cars.
So,
and if you fall behind in the race, you're falling behind. You're fighting Ferraris and McLarens in a car that's not very good at overtaking.
So I don't think you need. So I was going to say that I don't think you need to fall behind for Leclerc to be up in his grill. Or not in his grill, but up his, I guess, the rear wing. He's going to be there.
Yeah, you're right. That's why qualifying is so important.
I just thought about
what?
I was like, can you imagine that Bottas will be part of, the midfield? Because he can't get ahead.
In a Mercedes. But that's the...
Alexander Bottas Albon.
I tell you what, that incident last week with him and Russell, obviously Russell... the way he handled it was wrong, in my opinion.
The hot head, that little area where he was just still...
But he wasn't wrong. Like, why are you fighting a Williams? Why are you even back there? And it just... and it just goes to show... And it's something that we've mentioned this on this podcast a million times. If Bottas falls behind, he ain't overtaking anybody. It's just... He doesn't have that kind of driving style. And
we can't say it's the car.
And now
when he falls back, he comes back up.
And now you put it in,
because you could say the car was not meant to follow; it was meant to lead.
Yeah, and
Hamilton shows different too.
And I heard people using the excuse, it was the first half of the race, it was raining, the conditions were trickier. Fine, but still, you still got to show the results, and for you to be fighting a Williams. You need to, man.
You could say that it was, it was the first part of the race, whatever, it was raining. But that's the part of the weekend where the driver needs to excel in.
I think that
everything else is computer generated.
If Bottas is in that seat next year,
he won't be.
Well, if he is, the only reason is to keep team harmony with Hamilton, because I don't see them putting Russell next to Hamilton, especially after what happened last week. That's going to be like a Nico Rosberg situation.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
It would be awesome for us.
Awesome.
Yes. See another team win. But
all right, so predictions for the race itself. Where are we going?
But did you say your predictions?
Yeah, I said Max, Ham, Bottas. Gotcha. So then I'm going to go 4-5, right? Perez, 4. 5 Leclerc, right?
I was looking at you, he's going to say Charles.
Yeah. So here's the deal, right? I feel like
Norris.
Your boy
got mentioned here.
Wait. We're going to save that for a special occasion.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So, Norris
race
did not,
review.
Yeah, he did not put a foot wrong, but I think that the Ferrari is much improved. We see Leclerc at the front there, challenging even for second place at one point in the last race. I don't know. I have a lot of confidence. I feel so dirty saying this. I have a lot of confidence in Charles Leclerc and the current Ferrari program to continue their improvement.
That warms my heart.
No, that is a nice thing.
But the results are there. You know, at the end of the day, it's results driven.
Yep.
Driven, and you know, Leclerc has shown that he is a top driver. And he hasn't had a bad weekend all year.
And the start was awesome for him too.
And he puts that car where it shouldn't be. And that's a sign of a good driver. It's what Max does. It's what Hamilton does. It's what a lot of the top drivers do.
Okay, race predictions. Yhancy, I'm going to lead off with you again. What do you think as the podium?
I say Max keeps... I say Max keeps P1. I don't see Hamilton making another mistake, so P2 Hamilton. Even though Norris will qualify third.
In your opinion?
In my opinion. I think he'll fall back. And we'll get Perez. I think he'll have a better weekend. He looks like he's getting comfortable with the car.
So Max, Ham, Perez,
and then Bottas fourth.
And fifth?
Norris.
How about you, Wells?
Wow, you're throwing it back at me. I'm gonna go with the excellence of execution. Lewis Hamilton winning the race. I'm gonna go with Max second. I'm gonna go with Valtteri Bottas third. Fourth will be Perez. Fifth will be, I'm going to go with Lando Norris. Ruben?
I kind of go hand to hand with what you said. But I don't think Hamilton's going to let up, P1 escape. Yeah. P2 will be, if Max has a clean race, he'll have P2. But if he doesn't have a clean start or whatever, it'll be a toss-up between, Bottas and him. Bottas and Perez.
So I'm hedging my bet there because that's the way I come to my conclusion. Because if Max has a clean race, if the Red Bull car works, if there's so many ifs that you don't have with Hamilton.
Yeah, that's the reason why also this Mercedes has the sauce. They have the clean like that. Besides making sometimes mistakes in the pit lane, Mercedes doesn't make mistakes, and I think they've done very well in the pit lane for a long time as well. They've executed the double stack numerous times, flawless, and then Ham comes in 4 seconds. So it's like that's the only area on their side that sometimes is like a toss up where you don't feel 100% comfortable when it happens. But so Hamilton first, Max, Bottas, Perez. I would not say Norris fifth. I would say Charles Leclerc fifth. I don't think Norris has to prove to me that he could have back-to-back races. Done.
Like that.
Yeah. But say your comment that you were
Mercedes, the thing with Mercedes is that they make a mistake, then they go a long time without making a mistake. Yes. I think they got their jitters already worked out, and as the season goes on, you're going to see them get stronger and stronger. The difference with that championship fight that we are all clamoring to see, and hopefully it plays out that way. Remember, it's only 2 races. It feels like it's longer because we had 3 weeks between the first 2.
We're having 22 this year or 23?
23.
Okay, because you said 22 right now.
So, no. it's only been 2 races.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's only been 2 races. It feels like longer because we had 3 weeks between the first 2 races. The key is, and Wellington touched upon this the first the first episode of the season. I think it was the first or second. Is can Red Bull be just as strong as Mercedes, not only in pit stops, strategy, but also reliability? Mercedes has proven that they can do that and they can improve throughout the season, because obviously we've seen some season with Mercedes where they get challenged and they look a little bit jittery at the beginning, and then at the end they're just completely dominating. Now, Bottas has said that he doesn't see anybody dominating a race this season, but that's Bottas that's saying that.
You can't get past anybody.
Yeah. But we've seen them do it. Can Red Bull keep up with them? And on top of that, we have to see how McLaren comes along.
There's a lot of challenges back there.
And how Ferrari comes along as well.
So I think this is what happened after this weekend with the 4-second pit stop with Ham. So Toto Wolff, Mr. Dictator himself, said to everybody, we're not going home. All the pit guys got to stay. And we're going to do, 3 hours of drilling of just pit stops.
That's the Mercedes way, though, man.
and we better improve, or else we ain't going nowhere yet. And they're like, we're going to go home. Okay, so we're going to go home like a drill instructor. We want to go home, get better.
Mm-hmm. I'm with that. Guys, anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah. We missed, Red Bull just hired a Mercedes guy, Hodgkinson, that's his name, to lead up the technical direction of the Red Bull powertrains.
So that guy worked with the engine of Mercedes before?
He's currently working at Mercedes. I think he's going to go on gardening leave. But
What is that?
Gardening leave is basically a time where he doesn't work for any teams, so they can't pass up.
So probably work into the contract.
Pass out any secrets that he knows about Mercedes over to Red Bull. But the power units.
Obviously, you work into like hiring an employee in a contract, or like a competition kind of stuff, to prevent that. But what secrets? No, I understand there's companies have a ton of secrets. But what timeline determines? Because I could be working right now on a project that's supposed to come into effect 3 years from now. Mm-hmm. That's a secret of a company as well. Even though you're leaving, you got to take, let's say for example, he has like a year off. But in 2 years, he could still share that information.
But here's the thing, though.
You know what I'm saying?
This is why I find this interesting.
I was in F1, everything changes so much.
Yeah, everything changes a lot. But these engines aren't changing that much. And he knows all about that Mercedes PU. Obviously, they can't change much, but he can. There's certain things that he can implement and bring some knowledge to how these engines work. And also, he's the rumors that he's also trying to bring people from Mercedes to Red Bull.
Is this the ending of Mercedes' reign?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
because that's how it starts.
How do you think this plays out? I thought that was very interesting.
No, something like that, but that's how the ending of every time a team goes a couple of years winning titles and stuff like that. After whatever, they start to disperse. Either like some of those key people that start to leave to go to chase the money,
new challenge.
Yeah, to find new challenges. And now because you lost that key person that came up, that there's people that are involved in this sport that are just genius when it comes to, say, aerodynamics. And now you go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now you go somewhere else. Like for example, as bad as a driver as Wellington is in the F1 game, But if I hired,
I'm still mad that Wellington doesn't have a team with
If I hire his technical advisor in the team, I probably could beat him. That's pretty much what's happening, regardless of the secrets that he's bringing.
You ain't beating him, bro.
But going back to what you were saying, is this the beginning of the ending of the Mercedes reign?
I hope so. I don't know. So you were talking about earlier, what secrets? But in 2007, McLaren got disqualified. So it's like
and fine $100 million.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that can be shared.
Do you think that this can
$100 million?
Yeah. It's peanuts to you.
Peanuts to me? No, I'm talking about the fine.
What do you guys think of this though? Do you think that it would enhance? Would it? Especially now, we have the power units there homologated, which is that they're going to keep it's an engine free, so they can't really do much to the engines, but you have some knowledge of how Mercedes works their powertrains. You're going to bring it to Red Bull. Do you think this will put Red Bull over the top? And in a sense, bring in another dynasty, beginning of another Red Bull dynasty.
I think things like this have to happen for Red Bull because remember, now they're going into also developing themselves their own engine. So even though they're buying all this technology from...
Well, not developing, meaning they run the engines.
Yeah, they're going to run their own engine division. Obviously, the development is frozen.
Right.
But they have to learn all this stuff. That probably some of those Honda guys that they're now hiring as well. New, but if he brings a key person to even give them more knowledge of these things that they just bought and helps them improve even better. I mean, who wouldn't do that?
What do you think, Wells?
I mean, I think realistically, what do you expect? What do you expect to learn from this guy where you have a Formula One car that everything is just so intricately tied together? The cooling of the engine, the gearbox, the aerodynamics, even like things that go as far as like the wheelbase, etc. Like everything is just so tied together that whatever modification, obviously it's not something for this year since the guy's not on the team this year, but would it even be something for next year? I don't believe so. And if this guy was that important, he would not be leaving the Mercedes team. They would offer him the money. They would offer him something. They even went under a restructure where James Allison is now, CTO, and other people are moving up in the organization. I don't see this. I don't see this as that big of a deal. Where it would be a huge deal is if it creates the opening of the floodgates. That would be the problem.
That would be the problem. Also, what I was also thinking of maybe, obviously we only have we have 4 engine manufacturers. We have Ferrari, we have Mercedes, we have Renault, and the Honda's leaving. Does this signify the beginning of a Red Bull engine?
But that's what I think. Isn't that what
going forward?
Isn't that what the technology they bought?
Which would mean that we would keep Red Bull in the sport for a while longer.
I think that's why they bought that technology. They want to stay in the sport, and they've shown that they, come on, regardless of Mercedes winning, 7 straight titles, whatever, they've been there too. Right. So it's not like they're back markers where that's when all the trouble starts. Financially wise, they have the money to compete. They just not been able to jump.
The start.
Right. Jump the start. Yeah. But again, it's like, for example, you mentioned Allison, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that took place already? He's already like the CTO, whatever.
CTO and the restructure.
So we're not going to get him on the videos anymore. Like the
now it's Andrew Shovlin.
Dude, but
thank you, because Allison made me fall asleep.
Would it matter to you? Didn't he make you go to sleep?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Thank God we're not getting this guy, because I was falling asleep when this guy was talking. Nothing against him because I don't know him, but I believe when he was in front of the camera talking about what happened on the weekend, I would just fall asleep. But Wellington loved that.
Wellington loved that.
Wellington actually paid attention to the guy that much because whatever the guy is saying.
Wellington is a Mercedes fan because of James Allison.
No, I think whatever he's saying to me is pretty much like a spell that he's throwing at me.
Sleeping spell.
Yeah, go to sleep.
Don't worry, Prince Charming.
But he said to Wellington, I want to say, yes, I buy it. I buy the spell.
Did you just say that James Allison's Harry Potter?
Oh my God. With the little glasses and the lightning bolt.
Wow, Yhancy.
Okay.
This is.
I feel like I'm sitting in an episode of like The Office. All right, Ruben, you got anything to add? No.
Thank you, guys.
I'm going to wrap it up. Guys, make sure to follow us at Jump to Start F1 on Instagram and Twitter. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Also, make sure to follow us on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, smash the bell, ring the bell, smash the like button.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. So until next episode, we will talk to you guys later.
Off to Portugal, baby.
Care.
Peace.